So he's gonna take my legacy. I'm a very ambitious man, and he already put all this pressure on this little boy. And this boy is gonna grow in this family, and by the time he's in his early 20s, he's like, I have my own ideas. Because the father is he's a very perfectionist man. He's a very, like you would see in these movies, like this man who are like, you have to do my way or highway. And the son also is like, well, I want to do my way. I want to be my own man. And then their dispute begins. But then Carl, the son, he traveled around. His dad sent him from very early age because his mother, Ottilia, she was very much into embroidery and art. So he grew up in a house that is, just as a car, he grew up in a house that was science and art. So he goes into Bavaria, he goes traveling to see art, and he falls in love with art. He comes back, father has his own plans, and then he tells the dad, like, I think we should do things a little bit different. And the father's like, no, we're gonna do my way. And that's where the fight begins. The main fight is, JC is a very traditional man. He wanna do things at the maximum, he wanna do science, he wanna do research, he wanna do the best beer. Carl comes in and says, we want to do science, but I also want to do something beautiful. I want to do art. And that's where they kind of fight. And then I want you to look, the difference in the buildings you're going to see soon is that Carl has made things very functional, but very beautiful. Whereas the dad just wanted things to be efficient. And that's where they're going to diverge. It's open now, let's go inside to get the tickets, and I'll walk you through it. Once you're done, because our exhibition, we're going to go through the building, and then the building ends here. They also have a gift shop, so account for your time if you want to have the beer and buy stuff, which is the gift shop you'll see there. There's some old paraphernalia, new beers. I don't know how the ship treats the alcohol to get in. Do you know? No. Because I don't think you can
take it.
So when I had the training, I asked this, I will confirm while I'm in the exhibition, there was something about you can bring a bottle and then they will seal this, and then you receive at the last port.
That's
I
what
think.
We have to.
Yeah, just so you know, in case you buy and they don't let it, because I know you can buy it, but they will, upon entrance, they will seal your bottles, and then you can consume at the last port, because they don't want you drinking stuff that they are not selling, right?
Yeah,
just so you know. So don't go crazy with alcohol, because I don't know if there's a limit, because the limit of alcohol depends on the ship. So, but I know that whatever you buy alcohol, once you enter, they will seal your bag and return to you at the end, something like that. Anyway, the Carlsberg, back in the day, one of the ways to transport, still is, one of the ways to transport beer around the city would be the horses. So the Carlsberg, they brought them, because this was a whole, still is, it's a whole park where the horses still use that. So they would have these horses to go around and distribute beer. And at the time, these horses were treated like celebrities. And they are, I don't know if they're here today, like, oh, there are a few here. So you can come and look at them. And you can see here a few examples. This is an example of how the wagon they used to distribute the beer in the city. It's the little horse.
Oh yes, I love it.
We don't have the ponies because they have the tiny ponies here, but they're not here today. But look at the size of the bottles, right? So these are.
Oh, he's
and because Denmark is all about work-life balance, the official hours for working in Denmark is 37 hours and a half. Everybody has about 6 weeks of paid leave, regardless if you are whatever job you have. We're heavily unionized, and so do the horses. The horses have 6 weeks of vacation, and when they're not here, because they're working hard, they still work as not distributing beer, but they're used sometimes for some parades, to some events. So in summer, you might not see all of them because they go to another, we have a coast called Amafello, which is a natural park, where they have open areas but enclosed for wild animals, and they stay there for 6 weeks on vacation.
Oh yes.
They're 5 beasts, aren't they? I can buy it over.
Yeah, that's the And then you can see also an example, right? So this is the old trolley you see there, and then you have here on the car. Sometimes they have
The Chevy.
yes. Once you are done with the exhibition, you leave in the bar for the later. You can.
Yeah, that's fine.
I just want to give you a little bit of story around. Right.
Yeah.
This smells good because it's like it's a kitchen, right? It's not a proper stable. And sometimes you had the little ponies, but they're not here today. The two ponies that they had recently, they had one of them had babies, so it's Holly and Storm. I think they stay in that one, but they're not there.
I think they were leaving with some horses out.
Oh yeah. No, and they're very expensive. Very expensive because it's a new area, it's a new restructured area, and this was built not under the rent control of the kingdom, so they don't follow the same rules of the square meter price, you know what I mean?
Right.
So they're like crazy.
Hey, baby.
Oh yeah. So this is the man himself. You can see here, this used to be his house. And sorry, not the house, the laboratory. The house is, there's a few houses because they changed and in the sun. That is the lab, and this is where all the development, of course these places are not used anymore as the original way. Everything's in this other place, but the whole sales headquarter, marketing, you know, the desk jobs, they're all here. So if you get a job at Carlsberg that is not as a master, a brew master, blah blah, you'll be working in this building over there. So now we're gonna go down because I want to show you the gates, and then we're gonna go back in. Just be aware because it's the street, so please keep on the sidewalk. Although there's not much traffic now, but you know, a city of people brewing, hundreds of workers living here, underneath the galleys, and this stench of the where you are standing right now is written here. This is called the Death Alley, because this is what happened. After some time, when JC and Carl get in a fight, there's a schism. JC says, "I'm my way or highway." The son's like, "Great, I'll do my own brewery." He makes the new Carlsberg Foundation. And then what happened? All the people working here now have to choose a side. Because literally, Carlsberg had that side, and JC, the father, had that, and the son had this side. So what do? These are workers that have been families. And then the story goes that under here, you would have these fights where these people would meet and men drunk, and then they would fight each other literally to death. Also, you have to remember it's a very depressing times at times, and the people drink a lot. Some people kill themselves in here. So this is what's written here is the Death's Alley, and that's where we are. And then the story goes that all here where you are, you have these galleys, that's where everything happened from brewing, etc. The father kept this side and the son kept this side. So this is the house that you see behind. We're not able to see because it's closed, but this is where the son moved in. Father stays here, the son stays here. Okay? And then we're gonna go. Do you see already how it changes a little bit? Look at the gates. Well, the tower over there, the color is an art exhibition, but the structure is much different than what you see here. It's less brutal. It's very artsy, and that is the son. The son wanted to infuse art because he loved Greek and Roman culture. He went around traveling for art, and he wanted to put this together, and then the father was like, nah, not so much. So you're gonna see the son building next to the father. The father would build the building, the son would build next to it, and then they would make different ways. And it was like, can you imagine the dinner families?
Excuse me.
That's, oi?
I'll be walking down and coming back up.
Yes, we're gonna go walk that way and coming from that way.
Right, you alright?
Yeah, is that okay? It's not much because we only have. Technically, the city would start here. That is the gates you see down there. That is the Carlsberg gate. You see? The old, the old. And then the sun built it here in this area. And then later the fight's gonna come. I'm not gonna tell much because you're gonna learn the exhibition. The fight breaks, and then this whole thing now is developed by the father, the son. Sorry. So I just want you to look at the difference. This is a little bit. This is called the lighthouse. They say that at some point in the past, the father built the lighthouse because everyone insisted it was a very the lighthouse to show wealth. But that lighthouse points straight into, well, this wouldn't exist. It would point straight into the son's house. So you see, they're very petty people. They're extremely petty people. Of Carlsberg, and these represent the 4 children. They had many children, but these represent the 4 children of the family. So you had 2 boys and 2 girls, and you can see the boys because it's the male elephant, so it's the back elephant over there. They have a football, and they said that they built the women here, and they're towards the city because that's where they go shopping. Yeah, that's what they say. You can see in around the side here, there's a swastika over there. It's not a swastika. The symbol of the swastika, this was built before the Second World War. That is an old symbol for luck, fortitude, and good things that then was reappropriated by the Nazis later on, and it has different inclinations than etc. That's not what it means. And then it's very common to see the symbol throughout the different cultures, but also in the Carlsberg you see in all sorts of positions. It has nothing to do with the Second World War because they didn't exist before the Second World War. I want you to look up, and then you can see over there that is Jay, the father, and the wife looking to the city. These arches there, they don't have purposes. This connection, this used to be an old storage room. Nowadays it's empty because the way that they built this was to make it very beautiful. So the handrails they're very low. It's not really safe, and they're very tall ceilings to make it this beautiful bright rooms. Not very functional, so they don't use it anymore. And then sometimes they do events, but it's not in usage anymore. This whole area here nobody uses anymore. They kept now for tourists. Everything has been transferred to the main building up, and then this other place, Fadakisha, where the beer is produced. But I also want you to look for the gates over there. These gates, well, sadly now everything is under restoration here, but I just want you to look on the top for the main people. You will learn in the exhibition the family was very much into work life and then crazy and taking care of workers, which sadly nowadays I don't know, depends on how capitalism works, right? But back in the day it wasn't me, it worked really a part of the company. And then you can see in the middle that is Attila. You can see. But the middle there will be the sun, and then the Attila. In the top hat man there, that is the beautiful designer who built everything. That is the man He was taking the visions of art and making the details. So that's there, then the professor, the manager, and then the important people for the family. Sadly, you cannot see much, so I'm not going to talk much about that. You can see he would come to the city, right? This was not in the hills. He would come, pass through the gates, look at this beautiful elephants greeting you, because elephants have been used not only by them, but many other ones. A lot. It's a symbol of resistance, wisdom, endurance, also very virility, masculinity in a way. So that's why they're usually associated by different companies, and that's why you see them here. They're almost built in a way like the one holding the atlas. These are the elephants. These are special materials. It's carved stone, made of different materials from all over Denmark, different techniques, and this was at the time extremely expensive because you have to learn how to do this carving of the stone, but they're not so good. If you look at the elephants, they have almost like human eyes. See how they're a little bit odd. Since the 1800s, they're trying to track me all the time, so you don't know how you would draw and listen to people. The artists didn't know much because that's not how elephants are actually, and that's why they look like humans looking at you. If you need to take pictures, that's it, because now we're gonna go back to getting our exhibition. If you need me to take picture of you, I'll take picture of you. Anyone? Now or never.
Hello? Skål! Skål! Alright, so right now you are standing inside of the old grain storage building, and this is also where the exhibition takes place. The exhibition will be a self-guided tour, meaning you get to walk in your own pace and essentially spend as much time as you want in here. Now I know some of you do have a time limit, but that's up to you to manage, right? Now, I believe all of you've been given a wristband. If you don't have this one yet, let me know after my speech here, because not only are these your tickets into the exhibition, but you can also use them in here. The reason is we have some beer-themed games for you to play, some photo and video opportunities to try out, lots of fun and cool stuff to do while you're here. And if you want to save any of the things that you might do, this is what you're looking for, the hop sleeve symbol. Because as you can see here in your wristband, you have the same symbol, and so the idea is that these two, they meet each other like so. It's going to make a beep sound to let you know it's been registered, and then after that either you have your receipt, your email confirmation, you might have all of that actually, but the way it works is that you have this PIN code, you type the PIN code into our website, and that's how you access and download everything you do on this wristband here, right? Cool. Now, these wristbands, they're also important because after you're done here in the exhibition, when you go out, you'll be right next to our other bar, the bigger Carlsberg bar. Over there, if you present this wristband to one of my colleagues, just like me, they will serve you another free beer, which is nice. Unlike me, they'll serve it to you in a proper sized glass, which is even better if you ask me. Yeah, so keep that in mind. Now with that said, I just want to inform you that this is an old building from the 1860s, meaning there's going to be some low-hanging ceilings and some narrow and steep staircases within the building here. It's nothing dangerous, but it's always a good idea to be mindful of your surroundings. Alright? Cool. Now with that out of the way, let's practice this wonderful word of ours one more time. So, skål! Skål! Now with that out of the way, let's get you guys into the exhibition. So if you take your glasses, put them into the trays here in the corner, you can head through the curtains and go upstairs. So thank you very much and enjoy.
Good day. Welcome to Carlsberg. My name is Jakob Christian Jakobsen, and I'm the founder of this brewery. What is a brewery? Once the simple answer, a man who makes beer, was enough. But there's a difference between the man who makes beer at home for himself and the man who brews thousands of barrels and bottles of beer for sale at home and abroad. I am such a man. This new kind of man who makes a product on a massive scale. Now, there are some who think they can run their companies for profit alone. But I believe that I have a duty to my nation. I must leave it better than I found it. Hundreds of people work for me. I have a duty to these men too. I must be a father to them. They must have pensions, for instance. But they have duties to the company in return. Everything we do in the making of our beer must be done according to our methods, because thousands of people drink our beer, and our beer must deliver the same pleasure every time they drink it. So we must work according to the strictest scientific principles and practices. No deviations, no shortcuts, and we must constantly seek to innovate and improve. Very good is not good enough. I seek perfection. Now you may say to me, Jacobsen, come. Let us be sensible. After all, this is the real world. Perfection is impossible. And I will answer, probably, and continue to pursue it. Good day to you.
That was the JC, the father, and I belong to his son.
How do you do? I am Carl Jacobsen, and I am the son of the founder, the Carl in Carlsberg. You will wonder, naturally, what it was like to have a father who was never satisfied. Never satisfied with his beer, and never satisfied, naturally enough, with his son. I too could always be better. When I was a boy, he gave me this gold watch. But he told me I could only wear it in public if my grades at school improved significantly. I understood. I couldn't rest upon his laurels. I worked harder at school. I was allowed the gold watch. But of course, there's always something else to be better at. Learn French, he said. Learn German. Speak English better. Visit English breweries, Bavarian breweries. Learn their methods. Learn this, do that, be better. And we exchanged long letters on my travels. Letters about nothing but beer. Letters so full of the deep mysteries of brewing that to most other people on earth they would have seemed to be written in some sort of crazy code. There came a day when I will wager that no one knew more about brewing beer than my papa and I. I traveled all over Europe. Rome, London, Berlin, and Edinburgh, where I met my wife-to-be. But, as well as brewing, I learned about beauty. Because when I went to Paris to visit breweries, I also explored the city. I saw great art, elegant architecture, and gardens with beautiful sculptures everyone could enjoy. I took notes everywhere I went. Such beautiful things I saw that were part of everyday life here, but not back home. What use is beauty to a brewer, you might ask? What use is culture? Well, what is life without it? I let myself be inspired by the world. I used an ancient symbol of good fortune on the labels of my beer. I became a friend to artists. I bought their work. I brought it back to Copenhagen. I brought it home. Carl Jacobsen is curious, they said. And so I am. If loving art and passion is odd, then I am certainly very curious indeed. My motto, Semper Ardens, always ardent, always passionate, always burning.
We go on? Oh, that way. No, I'm right. We go on.
I am Laura Jacobsen, wife of JC and Carl's mother.
And I'm Ottilia, Carl's wife.
Our family is passionate about everything we do, not just beer.
It was equally important to all of us that the brewery should return something to society.
We were all involved in many different projects to improve life here. Upgrading the water supply, transforming Frederiksborg Castle into a museum of national history after it had burned down. But none of these projects were closer to my heart than bettering the lives of women in our city. Nurses, seamstresses, unmarried women. I established grants to improve their lives, to give them education and independence.
Carl and I, with Laura's support, created the group to take for very similar reasons. We wanted the people of Copenhagen, whoever they were, to come and see all of the artworks we collected. Some old, some new, all of the highest quality. We wanted to bring joy and beauty into everyday life. Great beer is not our only legacy. You can see our work all around Copenhagen today.
Improve and
Make it better.
that's our family legacy.
The challenges we faced, our passion, our spirit, they built this place and inspired the inscriptions on the buildings that surround you. These are my golden words from my last will and testament, and still inspire everyone at Carlsberg today. I now invite you to continue your journey upstairs to learn more about my golden words.
Getting warm.
Then he said facial hair.
You don't want to go back there?
Quite hopes up, thought these, yeah. To get some of those.
There's a story that maybe he set the brewery on fire. It is controversial because he lost the place so much, but that way he could get money to build a new place. I don't know if you guys should still, no? I have to tell the story.
This was cutting corners, no. Something like I want to be perfectly decent way to grow up. You know what you never did. Then what you go with there, no Carlsberg. So what are you going to do? Stop thinking you're supposed to take me to court. Like you did. Your own son. I thought you were trying to steal from me. And not just the name of my beer, but my reputation. Everything I've worked for. How could you have thought that? You were the person I aspired to be. As a father, as a brewer. Everything I did. That the court found in my favor. I think you forgot family.
See what this one is.
Joe, this was cutting corners. No! Something I had seen elsewhere, on one of the research trips you sent me on. A perfectly decent way to brew a beer. You knew I didn't agree with it.
And then you wanted to call your beer New Carlsberg. What was I supposed to do?
I don't think you were supposed to take me to court. But you did. Your own son.
I thought you were trying to steal from me. And not just the name of my beer, but my reputation. Everything I'd worked for.
How could you have thought that? You were the person I aspired to be. As a father, as a brewer, in everything I did. And then the court found in my favor.
Yes, quite right. So they did.
Papa, I think you forgot we're a family.
Yes. I thought we'd never speak again. Exactly how long was it we did not see or speak to each other? 4 years?
I was being stubborn.
No contact between us. It was not cold and formal. How I missed you. Your lovely wife. Your lovely children. And then one morning, your daughter Theodora knocks at our door with flowers from your garden. On Easter morning. It was like being brought back to life. I was a father again. A grandfather.
I had to send her. We aren't getting any younger. The children missed you. So did I. My papa died in April 1887 while I held his hand. We'd been on a trip to Rome. My wife and I, my papa and mama. We shared wonderful days. It was as though there had never been any argument between us. Carlsberg went on with their beer, and I went on with mine. New Carlsberg. I had the best teacher after all. Pursue perfection, he would always say. So I did. We brewed wonderful beers that he would have disapproved of.
You are, after all, different men.
I was delighted when our beer won the Grand Prix at the Paris Expo in 1889. It gave us a seal of approval that everyone in Europe heard about. I knew we must reach out to people across the world if we were to have a future. To share our vision and our beer.
But we still pursued our other passions, like art.
And when we founded the Glyptotek and opened it to the public, we wanted people to speak of beer and beauty
And excellence.
in the same breath. At last there came a day when our two companies were reunited, both now owned by the Carlsberg Foundation Papa had founded. We went forward, with myself at the head of one company that united science and art, with of course a beautifully designed new label. He was a man of science.
And you are a man of art. But you are both brewers, and you are both semper ardens.
Always burning. Always.
Now I don't remember if we have more details because the exhibition is going, and I think now we break to the new where it's like football and then welcome perfect game. So just put a reminder that it's 11:20. Have like an hour. And then don't forget the beer. When the beer. Yeah.
Okay.
But if you want to drink it, I mean you came here all the way, right?
Yeah.
Vi ho sentito parlare questo è il malto, quindi e più lo tosti più scuro diventa la birra. Questi sono altri tipi di grani, quindi c'è tipo quello che si usa per il pane nero, orzo, cose così che normalmente non si usano al 100% per fare una birra perché sono più difficili, il malto invece è perfetto, però si può sempre mischiare pure tipo il riso, cioè qualunque grano in teoria si può mischiare con quello per dargli una consistenza diversa. Questo pure è un grano piccolissimo che infatti che cresce in Africa, esatto, ed è ancora non si usa nelle birre, però è una cosa con cui stavano sperimentando in laboratorio, perché siccome cresce in Africa, ovviamente a temperature molto alte, provavano a fare una birra con gli ingredienti a cui avremo accesso più avanti con il riscaldamento. E quindi hanno fatto tipo 100 bottiglie di una birra che costava 1000 corone a bottiglia, cioè tantissimo, tipo 150 euro, no? E siccome è così piccolo non si poteva estrarre nessuno zucchero, quindi vuol dire l'alcol si doveva aggiungere chimicamente, esatto, e non si poteva tostare come il malto, e quindi era una birra, noi ne abbiamo assaggiata un sacco di italiani, ci sono veramente tantissimi italiani. Sì, però capisco perché è veramente facile. Ovvio la vita costa di più, ma hai tempo di lavorare. So that's how questo è il challenge.
Did I have all this last time?
Drink. So he gave and he chose German because especially Bavaria, so he thought German was beautiful. And nowadays you can actually look yes. Yeah, this way.
Oh, yeah, be with us that. Or is it just through there? Wow. How do you think all this up? Huh? Well, was it a lot different to this last time you come down? Huh?
You're an angle.
What, you want to?
So everybody else is behind you.
Touch screen to start. What are you going to call it? I don't know. down with this bit before.
Velkommen til 1890'erne, og velkommen i laboratoriet. Det er her, vi konstant kontrollerer ølets kvalitet. Nå, men nu skal der altså tages billeder. Smil til fotografen. Skal du stille? 3, 2, 1. Sig skål! Hold da, men det ligner det.
Come on. Not like you press English and Danish.
Yeah, but I went to push the thing and I didn't push it, you can't stand it across from me.
Yeah.